My name is Jodi-Ann Burey, and I'm a speaker and writer who works at the intersections of race, culture, and health equity. Earlier this year, I co-authored an article for the Harvard Business Review titled, "Stop Telling Women They Have Imposter Syndrome." And I'm here to share that message with all of you for the DEI Innovation Summit. In the spirit of innovation, let's think anew of imposter syndrome and use that mindset shift to grow our ability to create more inclusive environments at work today. First, let's define it. Imposter syndrome refers to the experience of not feeling an internal sense of your own success, despite all the high achievements and accolades that would easily prove otherwise. In short, people feel like a fraud. They feel like they might not belong amongst the ranks that they find themselves in and fear that one day they'll be found out. Now, I have 3 problems with imposter syndrome. First, our understanding of it pathologizes the learning process. Everyone experiences self-doubt and uncertainty at some point in our professional lives. The language that we suffer from imposter syndrome can make it seem like those feelings aren't a normal and expected element of our professional journeys. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to stretch ourselves. It's the work of learning. It's the work of leveling up. In tech, this is your daily life. Your industry demands pushing beyond what's been done before, creating new possibilities for how we create and connect. If you're comfortable and confident in every single thing you're doing every day, then where would innovation even begin, much less thrive? There are times, however, when those feelings of uncertainty can snowball into something more. Feelings once healthy, normal, and perhaps necessary for our creativity then become unhealthy, damaging, and limiting to our professional growth. And when the psychological safety that we need to learn, make mistakes, and innovate is only afforded to some, but not all of us, we lessen our collective possibilities. We can't have nice things when a sizable portion of our workforce is made to feel unwelcome, unintelligent, and like a fraud in their own area of expertise. This describes my second problem with imposter syndrome. It underestimates the impact of racism, sexism, homophobia, ableism, ageism, and other forms of systemic discrimination and bias in our professional lives. This casual, uncritical approach to understanding imposter syndrome feels related to other cute proxy phrases like tech bro culture that makes light of, without shedding a critical light on, the norms we create in our companies that discourages differences and creates disproportionate opportunities for our colleagues whose identities are underrepresented and marginalized. Finally, my third problem with imposter syndrome is that it directs our attention to individuals, not institutions. It focuses more on who I am at work instead of where I work. Imposter syndrome is becoming easier to talk about. Advice on overcoming it includes having more confidence, posting affirming statements around your desk, journaling about your accomplishments to remind yourself of how amazing you are, finding a supportive squad. Now, these are all healthy self-care practices, full stop. And also, I cannot post-it note myself away from the racism that I face. The solutions offered to overcome imposter syndrome are too small, too individual, and unmatched for the structural inequities that we face at work. The feelings of self-doubt, uncertainty, and fear that I don't belong, they're structural, not psychological. It's a systems thinking approach that helps create innovative leaders in tech. And it's a systems thinking approach that will help create inclusive leaders in tech, keeping diversity, equity, and inclusion core principles at the center of everything you do. So what should you do when you experience what we call imposter syndrome? I want us to take a break. Our feelings of self-doubt are not our fault. Examine what triggers your imposter syndrome before blaming yourself. For those watching who have the power and position to transform your workplace cultures as leaders, you have the largest platform that can model and incentivize inclusive leadership by addressing imposter syndrome. Here are a few ideas. Change how you talk about it. Look at imposter syndrome not as an isolated issue, but as an opportunity for structural, collective, inclusive practices. Ensure that you have the mechanisms in place to uphold these values in all the ways that you make decisions as a company. And lastly, believe us. Believe us when we tell you that something is not right. We are not the imposters here. But if you say that you value diversity, equity, and inclusion, but you do nothing to make it so, then maybe you are. Thank you.